Hi, I'm Daniel Gold, and welcome to the subscriber-only version of the Leadership Lab, the audio experience where I bring my Substack posts to life. By day, I'm a partner at BDO USA, but this podcast is my personal passion project, completely separate and apart from my day job, but reflect the same passion that I exhibit everywhere for teaching, mentoring, and helping others succeed through simple, impactful lessons. It is my hope you'll walk away with practical takeaways to help you on your leadership journey. Thanks for being a part of this community and joining me in the Leadership Lab. Let's get started. Leadership Lab number 4 on resilience. Resilience isn't something you train for in the traditional sense. It's not a book you read or a seminar that you attend. It's not even something you appreciate while it's happening. If I'm being honest, most of the hardest moments in my life didn't feel like growth. They felt like chaos, missteps, shame, stress, quiet, difficult conversations on the back patio. But in hindsight, those moments gave me everything. I've come to believe that resilience is built not in the dramatic recoveries, but in the micro moments, in how we control the pace, in how we handle ourselves between the stimulus and the response. Lesson 1: discipline is the gateway to resilience. Years ago, I was leading a company during a particularly difficult season. I went in believing I could drive culture with vision and passion alone. I thought I could lead with force of personality if I just spoke the right values, repeated them often enough. I believed I could rally people into alignment. I believed I could manifest a high-performing culture just by saying the right things often enough. But I didn't have as much awareness of the organizational pulse, or of myself, as I thought I did. When things started to fall apart, layoffs, client issues, internal friction, I blamed others, the company, the market, anyone but myself. Looking back, I was often pointing fingers outward instead of inward. I lacked the maturity to ask, what is in my control? How am I responding? And where am I contributing to the chaos? What I've learned since then is that resilience begins with personal accountability, not in a guilt-ridden, self-flagellating way, but in a clear-eyed acknowledgement that I control how I respond, how I show up, and what I take from the hard seasons. If I were mentoring that version of myself today, I would say this: lead with humility. Make discipline your framework. Show up with consistency. Speak with care. Stop outsourcing your inner stability. Your presence sets the tone. Lesson 2: imposter syndrome is a resilience test. In Leadership Lab number 3, I wrote about imposter syndrome. There have been specific seasons in my career wherein I experienced deep self-doubt, times that shook me professionally and personally. I told myself I didn't belong, that I wasn't good enough, that they made a mistake placing me in that role. I felt like a fraud, and yet I got through it, but not by pretending it didn't exist. Those experiences demanded a level of maturity I hadn't tapped into before. They taught me to become more self-reflective, more grounded, and more committed to the slow, daily work of growth. Resilience, I've learned, is not denial. It's not pretending you're fine. It's having the courage to face discomfort head on, to feel the full weight of a moment and stay standing. It's naming the story you're telling yourself and then rewriting it with intention. Over time, you build a different kind of strength, one that doesn't always roar, but quietly holds the line. Lesson 3: running is the mirror. Running humbles me. The moment I step out of the house, there's an incline. Quiet, steady, but immediate. It sets the tone, and right away, there's resistance. There's a very specific kind of patience required when I'm going out for a 10-mile progression run. My body is excited. It wants to go, but I know better. I know if I push too fast at the start, I'll burn out. I'll bunk, and you don't come back easily from that. And here's the thing. Leadership is no different. Excitement without discipline is dangerous. Enthusiasm without pacing is unsustainable. That early jolt of momentum has to be tempered with a sense of the long game. You've got to read the terrain ahead and adjust. A professor once told me in law school, Daniel, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Pace yourself. I didn't take it to heart then. I didn't get it then. I get it now. Discipline equals maturity, which equals focus, which equals control. Control lets you return to the finish line. In leadership, like running, is about finishing well. Lesson 4. Everyone is rooting for you. Sometimes we forget that people are cheering us on. Like in a race, there are volunteers ringing cowbells, friends and family lining the course and waiting at the finish line. Everyone, strangers, teammates, loved ones, they're rooting for you. In life, even when we feel alone in the hard moments, most people genuinely want us to succeed. I was reminded recently through a conversation that stayed with me that performing under pressure becomes easier when you remember this. They're not judging. They're hoping you shine. I think of that often now, whether I'm on a video call with a client, speaking at a conference, or helping a colleague through something difficult. We don't always see it, but people want us to succeed. They want us to show up, and resilience is what allows us to keep showing up, even when we're unsure or afraid. Resilience is having the presence of mind to remember that, to show up, even when you're nervous, to speak up, even when you're uncertain, and to keep moving forward because someone out there is counting on your strength. The daily practice of resilience. These days, resilience shows up in the small things, in taking a deep breath before replying to an email, in pausing to reflect before I speak, in lacing up and choosing the long run when excuses whisper, in remembering that my wife, my kids, my team, and my community are watching, and I want to be someone they can count on. It's not dramatic, but it is deliberate. And maybe that's what resilience is after all. Discipline plus reflection plus presence. A long road with awareness. A life lived with intention. I am stronger than I think. And so are you, dear leaders. Remember, leadership isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Take this lesson, put it into action, and continue setting the gold standard in your own life and at work. See you next time.